As you know, this young man right here is the concierge to small business lending. We talk all the time about starting businesses, buying businesses, but I actually want to talk about a proposal from Vice President Harris. She is talking about simply changing the game for small businesses. She's talking about upping the tax credit from 5,000 to 50,000. She's talking about potentially having 25 million new small businesses start up in the next 4 years. I thought we should talk to Bo and understand, what does this really mean? What does it mean going from 5 to 50K? And what does it mean to potentially have 25 million new small businesses in the next 4 years? Bo, I'm sure you've seen the proposals. Again, we are not accountants. It's only a proposal. I don't understand yet how it's paid for. I just want to talk about upping the 5K to 50K, because I think that is game changing. I think that will change behavior. And then think about small businesses, which today are about 70% of our economy, what it might mean to have 25 million more of them. So, Bo, there's a lot there. What are you thinking?
I think it's actually the best proposal I've heard. And I haven't studied it completely. And it's not because of what I do for an occupation, but really
A little bit of what you do for an occupation.
the trends are already there, that everybody wants to own a small business. That's why I'm writing a book about why everyone should own a small business, whether it's a vending route or it's a digital marketing agency you start, or you start a YouTube channel and that's your business. Everybody needs some sort of business, because I have the conversation every day now. My wife and I are doing well. We make 600 grand a year. I mean, they don't have an income problem. They have a tax strategy problem. And so
Right.
more and more people are talking Section 179, bonus depreciation. Well, now what this is going to do, this is going to spur this potential of 25 new startup businesses. Now we know
25 million.
25 million, my bad. 25 million. And obviously X amount of businesses go out of business within the first 3 years for being undercapitalized. So make sure you talk to me about SBA financing so we can build in that working capital. But yeah, I mean, it's the trends are already going there. Everyone wants to do something. We're going into this new world that is going to fuel the next 10 years, the next 20 years, and
Yeah.
it's going to be some sort of revolution in American history, where people took back from these large corporations and they started their own, and people start buying again and going, okay, we get back into the grassroots things of like supporting local businesses. There's going to be pushback to the larger corporations, as you see happening. Obviously, it's going to be hard to dismantle like Amazon, and I love Amazon. I think it's hard to beat something that's almost like they deliver on time 95% of the time. But yeah, this is truly amazing. So what the tax credit will do, most likely what that's going to do is probably the people that got some good W-2 wages are going to be starting these businesses, because they're going to go, wow, if I get this $50,000 tax credit, how I'm going to talk to my CPA and see how that's going to help me on the taxation side of my earned income. And so figuring all these pieces out, but first it has to get, approved, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know how it's paid for. I don't know the details, all of these caveats. I'm just looking at the fundamental game of going from 5,000 tax credit to 50,000. 50,000 is enough to change behavior. The other thing I already know is solopreneurs are becoming more and more of a thing, right? You don't need a company. You don't need this. VAs, all these things. You could do so much more as a solopreneur. So I just want to, again, I don't know if this will qualify, but this is where my brain went when I saw the number go from 5 to 50. Because the idea as a high income earner, in my mind, as I used to be, right? Somebody who made enough, I didn't qualify to take all these deductions. So I was paying 51%, at the end in taxes. I would be trying to think, what could I take from below the line, meaning post-tax, to above the line, meaning pre-tax? And then I think about, what is something I'm already doing below the line? And again, I'm just giving this as an example. I don't know if it would work, but this is where my brain went. Olivia and I like to take crazy vacations. What if we started a YouTube channel about reviewing vacations, or reviewing 6-star cruises on Crystal or Regent or what stuff we would do already. We create a YouTube channel. It becomes a thing. It becomes a business. You buy the cameras, you do the work, you do all this. And then when you go on a trip, at least a portion of that is a write-off because you're creating content. You're interviewing the captain. You're talking to the chef. You're doing all these things. Now, I don't know where the ratio is about, hey, is it all taxable? Is it not taxable? Is it half tax? Don't know. That's for the accountants to figure out. But where I went with this $50,000 is enough to change behavior. We will get more solopreneurs. We will have more people getting, I'll call it creative, tax efficient with stuff that they already do. You like watching your kids go play soccer, or you want to, review the 49ers, or you want to do this, or there's so many ways that you can wrap a legitimate business around that, where some, if not all of your below the line expenses go above the line. And oh, by the way, you don't even have to turn a profit. You have to show that you're trying to turn a profit, but at the end of the year, you could lose money, right? So I think $50,000 tax, I don't know what it is, credit, whatever it is enough to fundamentally change the economy. We could become a lot more solopreneurs. We could have a lot more side hustles. We will see a lot more people take stuff they already do and move it above the line, and it's a lot more tax efficient. It could be wild, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, you just think how creative you could be. For example, you have a YouTube channel and it's growing. Myself, yourself, why not buy a building and make it a podcast studio and then sublease out for an hour, you can come in and shoot the podcast, right? Because then you can depreciate the building. It's an active business. So there's a lot of things you can do. I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday, and he's like, okay, well, first he wanted a semi-absentee business because he's keeping the job, him and his wife. Then it's like, well, maybe one of us should quit. And I go, well, look, you guys make 670 grand between the two of you.
Yeah.
You could probably lift off one of your salaries. And then even if you made, let's say he was making 250, and maybe you started out and you're making 100 grand a year on your first year in your franchise, you're still probably making about the same in your pocket.
Yeah, net's probably the same.
Right. So I think we need more of this perspective. And I would have never thought I was so fascinated with the whole tax strategy. But like, to me now, as I get older in life, I'm like talking to all these people. So many people don't even understand any of it. And it's like, they're focused on making more money and working more overtime, when really you could work less if you just implement these strategies. Now you have that extra 100 grand a year to invest into your one rental at a time. I mean, I think there needs to be some general curriculum built around this, because this is the education the majority of Americans need. They need to know the fundamentals of, like, hey, don't utilize your own personal credit cards. Get a business credit card that's not in your name, so you don't use up your utilization. This is how you build business credit. This is why you want to separate your business checking account from your personal. This is so you don't commingle. This is how you do this is what you should do to set up your books, even if you're like totally unorganized. Nobody's teaching these skills early on. If that's what I want to, like, I want to create like an entrepreneur camp eventually that like teaches you these baselines, and then you build on those skill sets, because it's so important. And it's like the low hanging fruit. Like, instead of going out, everybody wants to be a big investor, but just start with your first house act. So you don't have to get too crazy. You need a house, you need a roof over your head. Go buy a triplex and live on one side and rent the other two out.
Yeah. And it's really wild to think about this, because again, it's already on the books. It's already a thing, $5,000 tax credit. That just doesn't change behavior. If you take it to 50 grand, it does allow people like me working with an accountant to ask the simple question: what am I already doing today that I could wrap a business around that would allow me to take some, if not all, of my below the line expenses and move it above the line? Now, that's for the accountants to figure out. It's for the IRS to figure out. It's all of that. But 50 grand is enough for me to have that discussion. 5 grand, not worth the headspace. 50 grand, that's a pretty big conversation.
Yeah, I think this proposal is a lot better than the 25,000 for first time home buyers.
Oh, that's a disaster.
I think when I was looking at the first time home buyers, what I would really say is, why couldn't we give them a ramp up interest rate so they can, so FHA, for example, instead of, let's just say the going rate was 6, why couldn't we give them a step up rate, 4.5% the first year, and then it taters up, year 3, 4.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense instead of artificially raising prices on homes to be
Yeah.
able to,
Yeah. My problem with almost all first-time homebuyer programs is they're all demand generating. We don't have a demand. We don't even have a demand problem at 8% mortgages. We have a supply problem. The fundamental housing market is broken. So if we do anything, it should be at the local level, zoning, maybe incentives to build smaller homes. Because again, think about it. Why do builders build McMansions? Because they're profitable. What if we took some of that money and, gave a builder a $10,000 tax bump or whatever they would call it to build a home below 1,200 square feet? Right. Today, the builder can't do that. But if the government sends them 10 grand for every first time home buyer, maybe it's profitable. I mean, again, we got to think about supply. That is my biggest problem about single family homes in buyer programs. But that's the opposite of this small business program. I believe that small businesses are the backbone of the economy. I believe we will have more solopreneurs in a decade than we do today by a factor of 100. If we add tax incentives, that will just accelerate that ramp up. It could be fundamentally game changing to the US economy if we have more solopreneurs.
I mean,
And crazy.
yeah, and last thing to add there is, like, even if there was no proposal for this $50,000 credit, if people actually knew just the advantages of being as being a business owner, first of all, obviously there's a lot more write-offs. There's Section 179, there's bonus depreciation. There, you can also set up self-directed retirement accounts like solo 401ks and different things like that, where you can put up to like 55, or I forgot the number, different depending on the retirement. Then you can actually invest those proceeds into whatever you want. They're self-directed. You could invest it in real estate. You can buy a business with it potentially. So I think, like, just alone, just like this conversation, one is, if this proposal goes in, it's going to be a great opportunity for sure. But just the fact that, just go out there and start like learning this stuff. Just like when a lot of people enter your channel, they're aspiring real estate investors. They want some information. They want practical information. They don't want to, smoke and mirror show. They want, like, how can the average person get started in real estate without being stressed out and kind of understand, right? So you teach the buy box, the first fundamental. This is how I did when I went to Fresno. This is why I picked something within a 2.5-hour radius of where I live, because you need to be able to go kick the tires. So if we can do this, but also now bolt in, like, okay, now I'm going to be buying these rental properties, but now I start understanding the tax strategy, understanding like how things actually work. And you don't have to be an expert, just understand the concept, and then go talk to your CPA or your tax person and say, listen, I'm buying this Ford Expedition. It's over the 5,500 pounds. Does this qualify? I'm using it for business. So all these things. So that was like the things I do. Like, does this count? I'm using this Expedition. It's over the requirements of whatever for the tax break. What would this actually mean against earned income? How does that all work? Like, start asking questions. Start listening to tax channels and read books on it. Do what you need to so you can understand, to have the questions to ask, and then you can be successful. Learn about the short-term rental. What is this active? If you materially participate in running a short-term rental, can you really do a cost segregation? Can you really write off against your earned income? Because the people that are understanding this and getting the good CPAs involved, they get it, and they're saving thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per year, depending on where your income level is. So if you're not going to do it, you're doing a huge disservice to yourself. And like, that's like the mission why I do Business Ownership Summit. I always bring a CPA on, because it's a big part of the whole equation. Not everyone wants more work to do in owning a business, but when they look at the full picture, like, yeah, it makes more sense. I do work now, and then I get these tax benefits. I get more cash flow. I think we got to look at the whole gamut, and that's what I'm passionate about in life, I think.
I love it. If somebody wanted to reach out to you and see what's what in small business world, how do they do that?
OneRentalMeeting.com.
There you go, folks. He created a URL just for us, a domain, onerentalmeeting.com. Look them up, schedule a call. Thanks, buddy.